Good morning. Welcome. It's Thursday. Keith Tebow with you here on FRC Media. Time for our weekly conversation with the mayor of the city of Fall River, Mayor Paul Coogan. Mayor, how are you this week?
I'm doing fine, Keith. How about you?
I am doing well. A couple things on the agenda this week. First of all, the continued discussion on how the city will be spending the American Rescue Plan Act funds, the ARPA money, as it's called. This week, the task force, which you set up, that will bring some recommendations on how to spend that money, held a public meeting this week. I know you were there, had to leave to attend a school committee meeting, but what were your thoughts in terms of what you've seen in terms of the outcome of that meeting?
I thought it was a very thoughtful, um, well attended meeting. We're going to do another one. We're just trying to put something together now. But the public came prepared to offer ideas on how the money should best be used. We had uh, three members of the council there. There was a broad cross section of Fall River. Obviously, some people were looking for funds for their programs, but at the same time, it was a great, first step on a roadmap of how best to use these funds to help everybody in Fall River. People were respectful; they were on point. One of the reporters commented to me that they liked seeing a meeting like that in Fall River because sometimes meetings get a little unruly, and they were proud of the way everybody conducted themselves. I watched it the next morning because I did have to leave, as you said, and I was very, very proud of what went on.
Yeah, and does this at all, change? I know we've talked about your timeline and how you'd see some recommendations. I know there's no real rush, but does this change at all? Maybe a timeline you may have had in mind in terms of getting some initial recommendations, because again, you may be seeking more public input.
Right. Again, I'm. We're not under the gun here. We have time to commit the money, and again, we want to make the best decision to help Fall River. As I said before, um, one of the first things we did was take the advice of the council on a police program. We've since expanded it a little bit, but that money will come out of ARPA hopefully, to make the city safer. Um, One of the things in that grant was some additional cameras and some other things we're looking at are those flashing speed things. So if we can do some things like that with the money and extra patrols and overtime, so we're working on it.
And one other thing that I thought of this morning is, how does political season play a role in this? Not that the politics that we're seeing, we've talked about your relationship with the city council, but just in general, the fact that there's an election this year. You're up for re-election. There may be different people in positions of power. Even moving forward, right? There's going to be another election season before this money needs to be expended rather. Is that an issue in terms of how you can maybe set things in motion that, if someone else is mayor could make changes?
Absolutely. I mean, it was like that when I came in. You look at what the former mayors did, good or bad, and you may continue some things and you may change others. But that's part of the political cycle, and that's why we all run with 2-year terms. You know how long you have to do what you're supposed to do. I'm hoping I have a 4-year term, and the voters give me 2 more, obviously. So we're going to make our case for why we have been able to steady the ship, and we have the ideas necessary to use that money to best help the city of Fall River. And I'm sure my opponents think they have a better way, but that's going to be left up to the voters.
All right. Next item I want to bring up, you were part of a public hearing on Monday, lending your input on redistricting in Massachusetts. There's a special joint committee on redistricting that's looking at, resetting the boundaries for the congressional districts as well as the state representative and senator districts. And the focus of Monday's hearing was of the 4th congressional district, of which Fall River is a part. Fall River is in a rare situation in that we have 2 congressmen serving Fall River, Congressman Auchincloss and Congressman Keating. You made the pitch again that there's strength in numbers, I guess. Having 2 congressmen, advocating on the city's behalf in Washington is a good thing. Expand upon that.
Well, I think throughout COVID, when we were on these federal CDC calls, or when we were asking for help, we made 2 contacts. We made it with Congressman Keating and Congressman Auchincloss, and we let them work either jointly or individually to try to bring support and financial resources to the city of Fall River. I don't see a problem with it. I would like to. I wish I wish everybody had the opportunity to work with both of the Congress people. I look at like someone like Jake, who's a first year congressman who I got to meet during the campaign, and he's learning on the go, where Keating is a veteran congressman with I don't know, 16, 20 years of service, and he knows how it works. So hopefully they can feed off each other. One brings some energy, one brings some knowledge, and both are important. So let's see what we can get.
There were a number of those who testified in the community recommending that the city only be served by one congressman, and they were actually making the argument that the demographics of the fourth congressional district are not as conducive to Fall River's demographics as maybe the ninth congressional district, in which New Bedford is part of. Are there some valid reasons to think that way?
Right, but I can fully see that when that gets um, played out, if it became one district the other way, then what are we going to be doing? Competing against New Bedford? Right now, we're competing against towns that aren't in our demographics, so it should give us an opportunity to garner some federal funds. But if we're competing against New Bedford and Taunton, those are very, very close in demographics communities, and we're all going to be looking for the same piece of the pie. And again, I'm not. This is not the end of the world to me. Whatever the Congress decides to do with their redistricting plan, or I should say the state decides to do to the redistricting plan, we'll work with anybody. So again, I'm not I'm not opposed to anything. I just have a good relationship with Bill Keating and a good relationship with Jake, and I think that right now they're doing what they can to help the city of Fall River. I've only been here 2 years, so all I know is COVID and working with those guys. So that's how I base my judgment on how people interact with me and how they help the city.
All right, and finally, again, some more community events. We've talked a lot about the summer evenings in the park that have been happening for the past couple of weeks in some of our city parks. I believe, is it this weekend? Another movie at Durfee High School? Is that this week?
That's the 30th.
The
That'll
30th,
be
next week.
July 30th. That's Jurassic Park. We'd love to see people come out. I was at the Paul Poulos Park last night for the art and music cookout. It was well attended. Those are very, very positive events. People have to just swing by and see one of those for 5 or 10 minutes. I'm not asking you to stay there and spend the night, but go see what goes on at those, between the canvas paintings with the spray cans and the music and the hot dogs and the food giveaways and the contests. It's really a lot of fun for the kids, and I really am pleased that we were able to get those up and going. I got to thank the Narrows for that. They really stepped up, and Patty Rigo and her crew. But they did a nice job on things like that. And of course, Elena in my office helped coordinate the whole thing. So it was very, very positive.
And as obviously we're going to see more of that as the summer goes on. I know, there's the events, the basketball events, the cornhole events, and I think there may be an announcement soon about another little block party event, maybe toward the end of summer.
Right. I think August 28th we'll have a block party at Kennedy Park. We were down there for Juneteenth, so we're going to go back down there when we coordinate it with the finals of the basketball tournament and the finals of the cornhole tournament, and have some music and food and activities for the kids. I think it's going to be another good day for the city of Fall River. Just cross your fingers on the weather. We need nice weather for all these events, Keith.
Yeah, I know it's either been great weather, like today's a beautiful day, or it's been really hot or pouring rain, but we'll just have to wait and see. All right, Mayor Coogan, as always, thanks for joining me. We'll talk next week.
All right. I appreciate it, Keith. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And thank you for joining us today here in FRC Media. I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great rest of your day.